I've recorded a video about AI every day for 100 days, and today I'm putting it all together. We're going to be building a business live from scratch in real time using everything I know about AI, software, marketing, sales, and branding real time in this video. I'm Craig Hewitt. This is 100 Days of AI, and today is day 100. Thank you so much for all of you who have followed me on this journey. I can't believe it's been 100 days. I feel like I'm just at the beginning in a lot of ways. A few things will be changing about my release schedule going forward. I think we're gonna go for 3 days a week going forward, but much more on that soon. I wanna get building. Let's dive in. So I have just a concept for this, and the story is I was at coffee with a friend this morning. We were talking about AI and business and stuff, and I want to have an office for myself outside of my home so I can go get away, work somewhere, come home, have work be at work and have home be at home. And I was saying, I really want something like Airbnb for offices. He's like, that's a great idea because there's a bunch of office buildings out there that have a desk free or a corner office free, but they don't want to go through the process of like putting it up onto Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that. How do they collect rent and all this kind of stuff? So I was like, hey, Airbnb for offices doesn't exist, should exist. It's going to exist by the end of this video. That's exactly what we're going to build. Okay, so the first thing when I have a new idea and I want to iterate on it and refine it is I go to Manus. So Manus is an agentic AI platform. It uses Claude under the hood, so really great, but is really, really super powerful. And so the first thing I would do is come in here and use adaptive mode. So you can have adaptive mode, chat, or agent mode. Use adaptive mode to kind of let it pick how powerful of a model or an effort it wants to use here. So I'll use Super Whisper on my computer to talk into my mic, and I'll just explain what we're trying to build here. I want to build a new product that is like Airbnb for offices. So the story is I would like to have an office outside of my home, but I don't know if there's any single office spaces or desks available in my area. Think of it like Airbnb, but for desks and offices. So it's one step above a co-working place. And it's not like I don't want to go rent a big old huge commercial space. So this app would be a matchmaking service. It would be a two-sided marketplace. On one side, you would have companies and people who own commercial space or office space that have a desk or an office that they want to rent out. And on the demand side, it would be individuals, mostly folks who work from home, who want to have an office outside of their home, but in the area where they live. Help me think through this business idea and refine down all aspects of things like ICP and jobs to be done and positioning and branding. Okay, so, with Super Whisper, I can just talk and it gives all of this stuff. And Manus now is going to go think on this and help me refine this a lot, right? So it's going to go through, it's going to think, it's going to do a lot of work on like positioning and benefits and risks. A two-sided marketplace is a huge risk, right? So you might not necessarily want to do that. So it's doing a market landscape research for Airbnb for offices idea, focused on competitors, customer profiles, and market gaps. Cool. So like flexible office space marketplace platforms, you can see what it's thinking. Like it's really smart. It's putting this into words that are probably better than my own. Cool. Okay, so liquid space. I didn't know liquid space was a thing. Maybe I should just be using that instead of creating my own. So let's go see. Smarter, flexible office. Find the perfect workplace, optimize real estate portfolio, and streamline hybrid team collaboration. Okay, cool. So maybe this is what we need. So let's put in my zip code. Cool. So let's go see in my zip code, like what exists already. So private meeting space by the hour. Okay, so these are all by the hour. That's not what I'm looking for, right? I want like a place. So these are all conference rooms. This is not what I want. Okay, so that's cool. Private office for 3. Co-working place. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, really. These are all conference rooms. And I live in Rhode Island. And like this is a pretty, it's a pretty standard metropolitan area. Like it does have this, like this is this is Regis. Yeah. So they have like, this is like co-working though. I'm talking about like, I want a private office. I can close the door, do things, record my YouTube. So this isn't what I'm looking for. I'm just going to go over here. Dedicated office space. Okay, so that's good. Market validation, right? Like this thing exists. Maybe if it didn't exist, I would be worried because it means the market probably isn't there. Okay, so let's go back to Manus and see what it has. So liquid space was one, tandem space was another. By the way, in Manus, you can pull up to see what its kind of virtual browser is doing here. So that's cool. So tandem space is a thing here. It's looking at a McKinsey report. Okay, so let's go check out tandem space to see how they're solving this problem. We manage your office search so you can keep growing. I don't even know what that means. Have space to lease. Yeah, this is fine. I don't know. This doesn't seem these are really expensive. Like I'm wanting to pay like $1,000 maybe. So this is all in New York. So or California. So like maybe this isn't exactly what a competitor. But generally these two kind of in the space we're talking about. So that's helpful. I think if there was nothing, I would be pretty worried. If there's a little bit of something, like this liquid space seems as close to what I'm thinking as we get, like that's cool. Okay, so free for individuals to use makes sense. And for companies, right? I think the company would pay. That's the model I have in mind is the company would pay to list or have like a featured listing. And and then we would rev share on like the rent is kind of what I had in mind. Cool. Okay, so I think Manus is done. I've completed the initial research phase. I'll move on to defining the ideal customer profiles for both sides of your marketplace. Okay, cool. So by the way, like all conventional wisdom would tell you, don't bootstrap. So like start a business without raising funding, a two-sided marketplace, unless you have one side of that marketplace already. And I don't have either side of this marketplace. So this would be a pretty challenging business to start. So don't steal this idea and go do it. It would be pretty challenging. I believe, though, that you could fill the supply side of this with cold email and cold calling. And so if I actually went ahead with this business, which I might, like, I don't know, I think that you could solve the supply problem by focusing regionally first. So I live in Rhode Island, smallest state in the country. I could just launch this here probably. And I could get dozens of listings and then on the supply side have dozens of people rent, and I would be at kind of hundreds or thousands of dollars a month. That probably isn't too hard. And then you would launch geographically from there because you do need this concentration in any kind of marketplace of supply and demand. Okay, so it's coming through and it's doing jobs to be done, ideal customer profile on both sides of the marketplace. That's cool. And this is why both sides, two-sided marketplace is so hard, is you basically have a product to sell to two different people. So unlike Linkberry, as you followed our build there, like I only have one customer. That's like business leaders and thought leaders who want to create content on LinkedIn. By the way, if you want to check out Linkberry, linkberry.ai, a link is in the description below. Okay, so this is why a two-sided marketplace is so tough. But when they work, you have kind of escape velocity of kind of both sides of supply and demand kind of coming up at the same time because everybody wants kind of what's going on here. So I think we're pretty close to done here, positioning a differentiation strategy. If I wasn't recording this YouTube video, if I was like actually building this business, I would spend time chatting with Manus about like what it put together and like, yeah, that's cool, but that's not like quite right. And I wanted to serve this kind of part of this market a little more than the one you suggested. Or, I was chatting with it about another product the other day and it's like, hey, I think you should do this. And I poked at it a little bit. Turns out it was like quite wrong. And so I do think that like AI is directionally very right all the time. Sometimes it's 20% off. And so that 20% can be like the really important 20%. So I would just encourage you to like really deeply understand what a product like Manus is putting out here, because as it's so powerful, it also kind of has a mind of its own and it's making assumptions and decisions. I call it intentionality with AI about what it thinks is right. And that just might not be the case for you. Okay, so let's see, we have this positioning strategy document, jobs to be done, ICP analysis, and in Manus, you can just click on these and it opens it up, and this is Markdown, and it'll finalize this as a prettier document. But what this is gonna do is it's gonna let us build a landing page here pretty quickly. And so you can imagine like this document that describes my ideal customer persona or the jobs to be done, the things that people wanting to rent office space and people that have office space where they want to offload an office or a desk or two. What kinds of things are they looking to do? What kind of positioning strategy should we be talking about? Oh, this is really cool. Like this kind of quartile of like you have a coffee shop, you have like a WeWork, you have a home office, and we have this thing over here, which we should come up with a name for this thing. Branding, right? Okay, this is cool. So it's even giving us some branding recommendations and a business framework document and a market research document. Cool. So it's giving us an enormous amount of context. Some of that will go by a domain name in a minute. And the other is we'll put it into a web page builder like V0 and have it create a landing page for us. Cool. All right. So Manus is just about done here. And when it's done, we'll get a business name, register a domain, and we'll go build a landing page and we'll get that live. And then we'll go build the product. All right, great. So Manus is done. Let's see. It says key highlights, market opportunity, shift to remote work has created 2 underserved groups, remote workers who want professional space without downtown commutes and businesses with empty suburban offices. Current solutions like WeWork, Liquid Space, and Tandem target enterprises or downtown locations, leaving a gap for individual neighborhood-focused solutions. Cool. And so it gives us a bunch of documents here. Cool. So we can open up this. This is like the high level kind of executive summary. That's great. It has all the parts that it broke out, like positioning, jobs to be done, market differentiation, naming. Near desk is what is this? This is not a name. That's not what we're going to do. Okay. So this is where like AI is like 80 or 90% right all the time, but not 100. Okay. So there are other files in this. And so what's interesting is that there are other files like this business framework document, and I don't see it. I don't see the rest of these documents. Typically, it'll have like, these are all the files that I've created. I'm not sure why it's not showing that, because we can just download this. So let's just ask, show me all the files. Okay, so while it's doing that, like, I really like this near desk name. Let's go see what near desk is. Okay, cool. So near desk is not like a company. So we're gonna go with that. That's a pretty good name. So like if neardesk.com was already like, claimed or something, I probably wouldn't do it. But let's just Google the word near desk and nothing comes up basically. Okay, cool. So I think that's a pretty good name. Okay, so what are our options here? So we have neardesk.ai, neardesk.io. That's probably the best one. Yeah, cool. So neardesk.co would be the other one I would want to do, but let's just see if it's available and just not showing up. Oh, cool. Neardesk.co. Yep, let's do that. And really, we probably could buy neardesk.com in the future, but .co is kind of the next best thing. It has the most credibility, I think, with folks. Okay, so we purchased neardesk.co. That's going to be the brand name for this, right? So we can come back over here to Manus. It gave us all of the documents here, right? I just wanted to say like that this is how this should look. So I'm not sure why Manus didn't give this to us the first time. And I'll just come back in here and say the name of the project is Near Desk. Okay, so it'll just update all these docs accordingly. Okay, so we have a brand name, we have a domain. Now we need to set a landing page, and then we'll create the application. Okay, so we're gonna have a landing page, and then we're gonna have a dashboard that are a little bit separate, and we're gonna create the landing page in V0 here. And so what we're gonna do is come over here and say that we wanna like build a landing page based on the docs and the specification that we give it. Please create a SaaS homepage for Near Desk. This is the home office marketplace that I'm building. I provided a lot of context in the attached documents. Please follow them to build a great looking modern SaaS marketplace landing page. I don't really even think we would call this SaaS. I would just think it's a marketplace. Okay, great. So that's cool. And then, okay, so let's go find all of these. Let's see, ideal customer profile, jobs to be done, positioning and differentiation statement. Okay, great. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to come back to Manus just because I think Manus has all the context right here, right? In this thread, it has a ton of context, and ask it to give me copy for the homepage. Great. Now give me complete landing page copy for the Near Desk website. I'll be loading this into V0, so also give me a comprehensive prompt for generating that landing page. So we're off to the races. I think this liquid space, I agree, is like downtown corporate office conference space kind of thing. So I actually do think there's a gap in the market here. Near Desk is the name. It's cool. This is like knowledge in Manus, right? Knowledge is like things that it applies over all of the chats you have, which is cool. Okay, great. So again, because Manus has all of the context about everything it just researched and put together, it's going to be the best to, at the very beginning, create the landing page copy. And then we'll just load all of that into V0 and it'll create a landing page for us. So while this is working, I'm going to go over to Claude. And I don't mean to like have to use all of these different products, but this is just kind of generally how I work. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and create a new project in Claude. I'm going to call this Near Desk CTO. And so since I'm not a developer, I need a CTO to just kind of break down the product into like technical milestones and give me things like what technology should we use and stuff. Your role is that of a prompt engineer. I need you to create a prompt for me that is a system prompt for a custom Claude project. This Claude project will act as my virtual CTO for a new product I'm creating called Near Desk. Near Desk is a marketplace that connects business owners and real estate holders that have extra office space with people who typically work from home who are looking for an office outside of their home. I want you to act as my virtual CTO to give me advice about tech stack and milestones and issues and sprints and just how to build this product in general. Create the system prompt for this Claude project. Okay, right. So this is going to give us the system prompt, and the system prompt is going to go over here in this area. And we're also going to load all of the files that give context about what Near Desk is. So we'll do those, and then we'll go download a few more of these files from over here. And I'm sorry I'm ping-ponging around so much, but I just want to do a good job here. Let's see, I'll market research, business framework. Cool. Okay, and then we'll get the landing page cooking here. So this is the landing page copy and the V0 prompt. And so we'll just load these two things additionally over into V0. So we'll come over here into V0, upload from our computer, and we'll give it these two files, this one, and this one. Okay. So V0 is pretty much going to give us a perfect landing page based on all this context that we just gave it. Cool. And so now we have the system prompt that will load into our Claude project. So we have that. Come over here, plop it into our Claude project. Just trim this bit here. Okay, great. So again, system prompt is a thing that is used over and over and over. So it's worth the extra time to do something super, super detailed like this. Like you would never write this prompt for just like, hey, create a grocery list for me, or how do I bake a quiche, right? But for something like this, I might come back and use this project 100 times in building this product. I want to spend the extra few minutes to make sure that this is awesome, right? Okay, cool. And I'm going to upload the other files here, these two extra files, right? We just downloaded these from Manus. Okay, cool. So now we have a system prompt for this to act as our virtual CTO, and we have all of the context that we got from Manus. So Manus helps us refine and get a starting place for just the idea of the product. Now we're creating the technical roadmap so we can go put these into GitHub or into like a plan file in Claude Code and build the actual product. Okay. You are my CTO for building out Neardesk. I want to create a detailed implementation plan that I will load into GitHub issues or a set of tasks to load into a Claude project. Claude Code will be building all of this for me, and I want you to give me an exact step-by-step breakdown of how to build this product. Neardesk is a marketplace. You can think of it as Airbnb for offices, for on the demand side, people who work from home who don't want to work from home anymore. And on the supply side, it's people who own office space or real estate and want to lease out an office or a desk to those home work individuals. Create a detailed technical implementation plan for me with tech stack recommendations so I can just feed this entire thing to Claude Code and it will build the product for me. Okay, so this is going to create a detailed technical implementation plan for us. And I think what we'll do probably is just put this into a markdown file in our repo. Okay, a 6-month MVP to launch. Nah, it's going to take about an hour, don't worry. Okay, let's go see how the landing page is coming along here. It says, so it worked for 2.5 minutes. Your neighborhood office is waiting. Stop the commute and kitchen table chaos. Find and book the professional private desk or office in your neighborhood by the hour, day, or week. Cool. And so you can search for your desk here, work where you live. Okay, that's fine. Discover local workplaces, book by the hour, day, or week, arrive and get to work. Cool. Okay. Reclaim your focus, elevate your professionalism. Ooh, I like that. And I like this kind of side-by-side thing. Cool. Okay. This is awesome. And this is for the supply side, right? That's cool. Some quotes. Okay, awesome. So this is cool. I love it. It has navigation at the top, list your space, how it works, about us. Cool. Okay, this is awesome. I love everything about this. What we could do now is just like publish this, right? I actually think that, this is like a technical thing. I was contemplating not building this in V0 at all. And we might not actually use this. What we might have to do is port this over to our Claude Code project so we can just have a single thing running. Because otherwise we'd have like V0 as a homepage, and then people would open up a separate tab or window or whatever to log into the dashboard. But if you look at like Airbnb as the closest analogy, or Zillow would be a good one, is like you land on the application. And I think we kind of should do that here. And that's kind of what this landing page is giving us. Like you're going to land and then like do stuff right here. And so, we could keep this, and then when they go to click to find a desk, it would open up the dashboard view that would look like this. I'm not really sure. We'll maybe ask our virtual CTO here what it thinks. So it's still working here. Tech stack, Next.js, React, Shad CN, and Tailwind, which is just like what this always recommends. Okay, cool. System architecture. Yep. Fine, good. Okay, so this is cool. So this is creating one giant file here. That's fine. What we're going to have to do is break this down into sections. So let's go and create a new folder in our coding area and open up Claude Code and Cursor to start organizing this content, because this is going to be important soon. So if I go to my coding folder, I'll create a new folder here, and this is where Neardesk is going to live. So that's that, and then let's open up Cursor and open this folder. Okay, so Cursor is an IDE, integrated development environment, and it is where you would typically like code things and where you would run Claude Code. So we're going to create a couple of things here. One is a file called plan.md, and then another one that will be a series of tasks. If we go back to our Claude project here, you see like this is task 1.6.3. So just from experience in building out Linkberry, Claude is not able to see a huge, enormous list. And so, here, phase 2. Okay, so this is where we would kind of break the first phase. So that's perfect. So we're going to go copy all of this stuff into the first task document in our Claude Code folder. Okay, so went a little too far. Go back down. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Keep going. Cool. Okay, so we're going to copy all this, put it into tasks1.md. Cool, and save that. Okay, so then we'll just come back down here and grab the rest of this into the phase 2 document. I think Claude will probably time out. And so what we'll need to do is just feed the context back into it and have it continue. Phase 2, our task set 2 was quite a bit quicker. Okay, cool. So that's that. That'll be task 2. Paste this in. Trust and safety. We might not get to all of this today, but we'll definitely get the application running today and the basics of this. Insurance, yep, that's something I thought about. Like there's a fair amount of liability to this business as you're dealing with two different sets of people's money. Yeah, mobile app, definitely, right? Like everything has to be mobile these days. You have to build a mobile app. That's kind of like a lot. Okay. So that was pretty quick. Cool. Okay, so task. Cool. And phase 5, growth features, analytics dashboard, and whatnot. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to copy all this. And create a task 5. Okay, great. So now I can open up Claude Code in the bottom pane here. So you see we're in the near desk folder, and I'll just run Claude. So Claude Code is running, and I'm just going to tell it to, so I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to come over here and say, that's great. I need a plan.md file. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Now create a more concise plan.md file for my Claude Code project. So plan.md is like a human readable. These are the things that we're going to do and we're going to build. The tasks.md file, or files in this case, are a little more technical. So I think both are necessary for Claude to be able to do its job. Cool. So, here in, 20 minutes, we refined the name and the kind of gist of the business. We picked out a name. We got that registered. We have a landing page going that we could set live any minute. And we have a technical plan through our virtual CTO that is giving us exact roadmap of how to implement this with Claude Code. Pretty cool. So I think Claude is stuck here. So I'm just going to refresh this page. Okay. It was just stuck for some reason. Okay. So, as you can see, this is much higher level, much more human readable, so that if I was working with a team, they could read the plan.md file and kind of get the gist of kind of what we're doing here. Okay, so pretty standard tech stack, Stripe, Next.js, SAPA-based probably, Tailwind, and ShadCN for front-end stuff. And the plan.md file is giving us the kind of breakdown of all this and how we'll do things. I think what we probably will end up doing is basically just taking this homepage design and porting it into our Claude Code project and say like, hey, make the homepage look like this. But I think it's a useful project to go through just to use a really good front-end kind of web design tool to do the job of putting together the first landing page for us. But I do think we're going to put all of it together in one place. So the homepage is going to be part of the application. Okay, this is almost done. And we'll just download this into our Claude project and we'll tell it to go. Oh, come on, buddy, you're almost done. I can tell. It's working hard today. It's funny, I haven't done any work with it really today, so I know we're not like at token limit or anything like that. Okay. Okay, great. So we have our plan.md file. I downloaded it. Oh, I should have. That's fine. I'll just, actually, let me just copy it. Copy, come over here, paste. Okay, great. Please familiarize yourself with this project in the plan.md file and begin the process of building the application beginning in tasks1.md. So I'm just going to rename these to take out the spaces. I don't know if it matters, but I think it's just a little cleaner. Okay, and so we want to highlight task1.md to know that it's giving the context here. So I don't think we need to use plan mode. This is just not that sophisticated of a project. And if we kind of did plan mode already, right? This is all of the details that it needs to know, and it's going to do all of the stuff. And we've given it basically all of the specifications already. And Claude Code is just going to go away and build it. Now I'm going to turn on kind of super like YOLO mode here in just a minute and let it just do its thing, okay? Very important. Should it create a subdirectory for a Next.js app or do in the current directory? 100% do it in the current directory. I had to move one of my other projects because of this. So what you don't want is like all of this stuff and then another folder underneath this. You could fix it later, but it's kind of a hassle. So don't ask me again. I'm just going to let this thing go away. I'm just going to kind of pick these off one by one and just let it build the application. And when I pick these off, I mean, give it permission to auto accept everything. So allow all edits in this project. And I'll have to approve that in the kind of actions that it can take for every new type of action. So if it wants to make a directory or edit a file or do Git stuff or whatever, I'll have to go through and do it automatically. There is kind of like super YOLO mode where you can just let it do kind of whatever it wants. Yep, bash command, go ahead and make that directory. While we're at it, while Claude is doing its thing, I'm going to go back over here and ask it about deploying this app. So we're building a Next.js app. How should I think about setting up deployment for this so that we can deploy the app when it's ready? So you need hosting and deployment, like a place for this thing to live on the internet. It's probably going to say Vercel, which would be my choice. I think Vercel owns Next.js or runs Next.js. That's cool. Okay, so I already have a Vercel account, and so that's great. We'll just come over here and do it here. And so it might just be able to do this by itself. We'll see. Npm install. Yep, great. Don't ask me again, right? It's just we want it to just do as much as we can on this without asking. And again, like I have a philosophy these days that like if I spend enough time to create really detailed documentation, or I have AI create really detailed documentation, I would rather it just go and run and we can figure out the issues later. Like it's just more effective than me figuring out exactly what it's doing all the time and nitpicking all of it or anything. It's just not worth it to me. So I want to just like let it go do put in a little bit of time and effort up front and then let it go do its thing. That's kind of the path I'm on these days. Okay, so let's see where we are. We have environment variables. That's cool. We have node modules. We have an app built, authentication, dashboard, all this kind of stuff. Okay, we're making some progress. Let's see. Utility files. Clerk is for authentication. That's cool. So we're building authentication and login. Shad CI, that's cool. Shad CI is like a pretty popular library of UI elements like cards and tags and buttons and all this kind of stuff. And Tailwind is CSS, so like just how the web page looks. So we'll create repository in GitHub too. So we could go ahead and do that now. So if we just go to your GitHub repository and say new, and we'll call this near desk. Cool, that's all you have to do. It's gonna be private and we don't need to do the rest of this. So we'll just say that's cool. And then our Claude Code project and just Claude Code in general should already be connected to GitHub. And so we could just say like, hey, go push it to this. And then Vercel probably will just pull it from GitHub anytime there's a new change and it will deploy or update the application accordingly. Cool. Do I want to run the server? You bet you I do. Run the server and let's see what this looks like. It was working and then it stopped it. That's cool. Basic layout and navigation components. It's going to create the header first. Cool. Let's see. What else can we do while this is working? I think this is, as an aside, I think this is one of the conundrums of developers and product people these days is like the AI is just over there working. We don't need to be there babysitting it. Like me sitting here staring at what it's doing is not really effective, other than it stops and asks for something and I need to be alerted to it. That's cool. So you can set up here in your settings.local.json a way for it to ding when it stops. I typically turn that off just because it starts and stops a lot and I don't want to be notified. But if you really set it to like YOLO mode, you might want to know if it needs to stop. But that's just a handy thing is you can come in here and add some bits to alert you when it stops or when it has a question. Let's see, we have a GitHub repo built for this. We have deployment that we already have a Vercel account and we'll deploy here. I guess we could add a new Vercel project. Yeah, so it's asking us for this. That's cool. So we'll just copy but we don't have anything here yet. So I think adding this now would not be ideal. Let's wait till we have something. Like maybe it'll stop at some point and we can push some code to GitHub and then we could build the application in Vercel. So, we're working in this tasks.1 or task1.md file. I wonder how far along we are. Let's see. Components to build, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, just keep running npm build. I don't want to know. So I don't know if you caught that. So you can just say, yes, do this thing one time, or yes, and don't ask me again for this type of thing, like npm build. So cool. So what it's doing is it's building the application to make sure there's not errors. So yep, run the development environment. That's cool. Oh, so while this is working, let's click on this and stop, open. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So we have an application. That's cool. Okay, cool. This is a cool contrast, I think, to say like this, way better that we got in V0 than this. But hey, this ain't bad for us, not really doing a whole lot of work, right? Okay, cool. So it's building a README file. Okay, initialize Git and make the first commit. Cool, so it's initializing Git on my computer. Do I want to allow this? Yep, I want you to keep doing Git. So that's just version control so that if something happened, it's on my computer here locally. We'll add this to GitHub in just a minute so that we can see this thing live on the internet. Okay, cool. So let's see, I wonder where it is at this point. Okay, cool. So let's see. Let's see all the stuff that it did. Okay, so completed to-dos, project initialization, set up the dependencies, created the UI library, layout and pages, project infrastructure, build and test. Next steps. To continue deployment, you'll need to set up clerk authentication. Okay, I'll do that. Set up SUPA-based database. Okay. Configure Mapbox to get API token for map features and set up Stripe for that. Would you like me to continue these next steps? I can help you with this. Say, no, I want to just deploy it. No, I'd like to first connect this to GitHub. Here is the GitHub repo I've created for this project. Cool. And then we'll just go to GitHub, get this, paste that in. And I've already set up Claude Code to connect to my GitHub. And so it should be able to just do this. We'll see. Sometimes this is finicky. I find that there are things about this that work and sometimes they don't. So we'll see how this is. Yep. Great. So we come back over here, give a refresh. Bam. Okay. We're cooking. Okay. So that's working now. So we can come back over to Vercel and create a project based on our repo. Oh, so I need to connect my GitHub to Vercel. Yeah, that's cool. And we want to use this project. Okay, cool. And it just does all of it automatically. So it's pulling the main branch in my project here, and it's calling it near desk, and it's deploying this. Installing dependencies. It'll probably run into an error with like the environment variable. So we have like this env.example. So like all of this stuff might not be in there just yet, but we'll, okay, so cool. We ran into an issue here. Let's see, build logs. Oh, okay, so this is just outdated. Some of these libraries are outdated. And so the last thing we'll probably need to do is back in like where we registered the domain is we registered this domain and now we need to come and point the application at this. And so that typically is in like the DNS area. And we'll just need to update all this stuff. Once first cell is ready, it will tell us, okay, great. This is live and we need to add a custom domain now. And this is the domain. I always wonder why it wants to do this. That's fine. I don't want to argue with it right now. Okay, great. So neardesk.co, and it gives us the DNS settings. So this is kind of like how to point a thing to a domain on the internet. So we'll create this A record with a symbol of @ to this. So we'll go back to our DNS and we will add an A record at this. Cool. And CNAME, we'll just edit this one because it already exists. And I just know because I've done this a lot lately. CNAME of www that we want to be, where'd it go? Oh, it might have just deleted all the other ones. Okay, that's fine. So we'll just create a new CNAME record, www of this. Okay. So that, sorry, I keep going to the wrong place. Okay, that's done. So now you can come in here and hit refresh in Vercel, and it recognizes that, recognizes both of them. So drum roll. Oh no, it'll work. Hang on, just give it a second. Doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Oh, generating SSL certificate. It might take for a time for DNS to work properly. Okay. Let's just make sure the build and deployment is successful. Yep. Okay, so it deployed and it was successful. Oh, okay. All right. So pretty amazing, right? In whatever, 35, 40 minutes, we came up with an idea, got a domain, picked a name, created a landing page, built a product, and it's live on the internet. Pretty cool. And the tools we use, right? So we use Manus, we use V0, we use Claude, we use Claude Code extensively, right? And now we have like the beginnings of the business, right? And so from here, the process would be exactly the same, would be just like follow the instructions that Claude Code gives me to continue to build out all of these things. We're still in task 1.markdown, and we'll continue to build on this. I'm going to keep building on this because I told my friend that I bet him actually. I said, hey, I bet I can have this live by the end of the day. And he said, oh, BS, Craig, there's no way. This would take like a week to put together. I was like, okay, just watch. I'll send it to you, I promise. I have the text right here on the screen. And so I'm going to send this to him here in just a minute, and he's going to be blown away. I hope this is helpful. For me, this is a super cool way to wrap up 100 Days of AI. For those of you who have been with us for like a lot of it, thank you very much. This is really like in a lot of ways a very cool culmination of all the things that I've learned. And hopefully most of this isn't like rocket science or voodoo to you, but it all just kind of makes sense if you've been following along with the 100 Days of AI. Like a lot of this should be like, oh yeah, that's how I would do it, and that's what I would do, and everything. So this product and this business is just at its infancy, but here in 45 minutes, we went from an idea to a name to a plan to a product that actually works and is live on the internet. And we should all be very proud to be able to do something and live in such an amazing time. Just on a personal note, it's been an absolute pleasure learning and sharing what I've learned with you over the last 100 days. I want to thank you very much for your support. The YouTube channel here has gone from 0 to almost 11,000 subscribers and has changed my life. I'm getting introduced to people that I never thought I would get introduced to, and to hear the support and the comments and the feedback from all of you has been absolutely amazing. I have some really exciting things planned for the YouTube channel and really just my life and business here going forward. I'm going to definitely be publishing videos consistently, not every day, but 2 or 3 days a week going forward. A lot about AI, a lot about using Claude Code in development, and a lot about business. Those are the kind of three buckets that I'll be putting things into. And that's what you hopefully have to look forward to. It's definitely going to happen. It's just whether you're going to look forward to it or not. But it's been an absolute pleasure sharing this 100 Days of AI journey with you. I'm Craig Hewitt. This is 100 Days of AI. Thank you very much for watching.